Our topic today, it's about a concept that we all grew up knowing and hearing about all the time. Yet, when we look at the condition of our community, whether it's the community as a whole, or the families, or the individuals, we realize that we're not dealing with this concept as we should. Every time we all together discuss, whether it's through khutbah or through different means, the ways to improve our community. And we all know that improving the community will only come by improving the individual. It's indeed a difficult task. We're all working so hard on it, but every time we feel that there is something that's preventing us from moving forward, from reaching where we deserve to be as a community. And this concept is a dhulm. A dhulm. How do we deal with a dhulm as Muslims? Now we know that a dhulm, from what we all learned, is something big, but are we able to deal with it the way we should? What is a dhulm? A dhulm as an Arabic word has many meanings. It's a word that includes different behaviors and action, and it could be interpreted differently. A dhulm, to sum it up simply in English, could be simply oppression. A person is oppressing a person. It could be harm, physical harm or psychological harm. That's also dhulm. Someone makes fun of you, the way you look, the way you speak, and you're hurt. This is dhulm. If someone puts you down and you're hurt, it's dhulm. If someone abuses you physically, it's dhulm. Dhulm is also denying your rights. If someone denies your rights, that's dhulm. Dhulm could also be you supporting a zalim. So that's the indirect dhulm, where you are not performing dhulm on somebody, but you are sakit an al-dhulm. That's also dhulm. Or you're supporting a zalim. That's also dhulm. You're not pushing back a dhulm where you have the ability. That's also dhulm. So there's a lot of dhulm that's happening around us. And it's not only from an individual to an individual. It could be between two people, strangers, dealing with each other in business. It could be two neighbors. It could be parents to their sons and daughters. It could be the sons and daughters to their parents. It could be an individual to a community. You could be performing dhulm upon your community, and it could be a community upon the individual. And our khutbah today is focused on the community. For us as a Muslim community in Canada, this is our focus. Dhulm could be anywhere, by anybody to everybody. And nobody, and we will start with this, nobody has the right to do dhulm upon anybody. Nobody. Whether it's your parents, whether it's yourself, whether it's an elder, whether it's a sheikh, whether it's a alim, nobody has the right to do this. Because we simply know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala disliked al-dhulm and prohibited al-dhulm. We all know in Hadith al-Qudsi that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya ibadi, inni harramtu al-dhulma ala nafsi wa ja'altuhu baynakum muharraman فَلَا تَظَالَمُوا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Jalla fi ula, He said, O my slaves, dhulm is prohibited upon myself subhanahu, and I made it prohibited upon you. Do not exercise dhulm. لَا تَظَالَمُوا. This order includes every single person. Doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter your status. It doesn't matter your wealth. It doesn't matter your knowledge. Nobody has the right to perform dhulm or to harm anybody. And that doesn't only fall under Islam and Muslims. It applies to all humanity. Dhulm is muharram, period. We also know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Hud, أَلَا رَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الظَّالِمِينَ. The curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shall be upon those who perform dhulm. We also know that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us in the Hadith al-Sharif, اتَّقُوا الظُّلْمَ فَإِنَّ الظُّلْمَ ظُلُمَاتٌ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. A dhulm will lead you into darkness in the day of judgment, will lead to destruction on earth and darkness in the day of judgment. So we all agree that dhulm is something that we should not do. And we all agree that dhulm could be as simple as hurting someone's feelings with your eyes, by just a look of undermining someone's achievement or undermining someone's status. You could be performing dhulm. So we need to be very careful when we deal with it. But how do we deal with dhulm culturally? And allow me to say culturally, because in our cultures as Muslims, it doesn't matter where we come from. Whether you're from India, from Pakistan, from Arabic countries, from the East, from the West, we've been dealing with dhulm in a certain way. Is it the right way? Is it what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wants us to do? Is it how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves for us to be? Let's see. First thing I want to focus on in the first point out of 7. First thing is when we're dealing with a zalim. So there's a zalim, someone who oppressed, who harmed, who hurt, who did something wrong publicly or privately. We have a problem when this person is one of us. When this person is one of us, how do we deal with the dhulm? We tend to let things go because he's one of us, because he's like us, because he's from our group, from our family, from our masjid. Forgetting that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لو أن فاطمة بنت محمد سرقت لقطعت يدها. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, if his own daughter stole, he would execute the law upon her. And stealing is a dhulm. But for us, traditionally, and I'm speaking traditionally to all of you and to all of us to listen here, dhulm is not acceptable if it comes from a person that we know, if it comes from a person that's considered one of us, whoever us is. The family, the group, the race, if it's coming from you, from your own kind, it's not acceptable. Unfortunately, we tend to let it go. And remember the hadith of Rasulullah ﷺ, where he said, "Unsur akhaka zaliman aw mazluman." Stand by your brother. Support your brother. And same thing goes to the sisters. Zaliman aw mazluman. Whether this person is oppressing or being oppressed. So Sahaba said, "Oh Rasulullah, if he's being oppressed, it's understandable. We will help him to lift the oppression." Well, what if this person was the oppressor? What did he say, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? تحجزه أو تمنعه من الظلم أو تأخذ فوق يديه. Different narrations. And نأخذ فوق يديه, meaning to stop this person from oppressing others. So if your brother, if your sister, if your own kind, if someone that's close to you perform dhulm, that's not okay. Your duty, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered you, is to stop that dhulm and to help him by preventing him from performing dhulm upon other people. The second point, how do we deal with dhulm? We tend to let it go again. As a community, we tend to let it go. We tend to get easy with it. Another point, another reason is al-khawf min al-fadiha. Because we think we're backbiting. We think that there's a slandering and defamation. Oh, we can't talk about it. We don't want others to talk about it because it's a fadiha. If we talk about it, our whole group will be blamed. People will think badly of us. So let the dhulm happen and keep it hush-hush so no one will hear about it and the dhulm will grow. What we're forgetting here is, this is not the way to deal with it, as Rasulullah ﷺ told us. And this is not a ghiba. It's not backbiting. Our ulama told us that there are 6 incidents where people might think the behavior of telling is a ghiba or talking about it is a ghiba, but it's actually not a ghiba. And they're all summed up in this bayt ash-sha'r, in this verse from poetry. الذم ليس بغيبة في ستة. الذم, when you talk about a person, that this person performed dhulm, you're definitely offending the person because you're saying this person performed dhulm, so you want to go talk about it. This is not fadiha, this is not ghaiba. In 6 areas, in 6 incidents. متظلم ومعرف ومحذر ولمظهر فسقا ومستفتن. Okay? First one is, if you are falling under oppression, if you talk about it, it's not ghiba, you have to talk about it. If you are in a position where you have to let someone know, for example, someone is asking about a person because they want to marry off their daughter or their son, and you have something to say, you have to say it. This is not a ghiba. And muhaddir, if you see someone doing something that might hurt the individual or the community, you have to say something. You have to push that dhulm back. This is not a ghiba. وَلِمُظْهِرٍ فِسْقًا. You need to show that there's an act that's happening that's eventually going to harm us. You need to talk about it. It's your duty as a Muslim to talk about it. وَمُسْتَفْتٍ. If someone is falling under a situation where he needs to talk to a mufti, a alim, you have to talk about it. You have to talk about the situation. You have to say this person did 1, 2, 3, 4. You might be wrong, and it's going to go into some sort of arbitration, but you need to talk about it. And the last one is طلب الإعانة في إزالة منكر. When you see a munkar, you see a dhulm happening, you need to talk to people so they can help you out. What do? You have to talk about it. You have to go around and talk to people and say this and this and this is happening. That person is performing this. People might call you names. People might say you're a troublemaker. People might say you're causing problems in the community. You shouldn't be doing this. But when there's a dhulm happening, it's your duty to do this. This is an islah. We shouldn't shy away from it. We shouldn't run away from it. But we talk to the right people and we try to deal with it wisely. Nevertheless, we should not stay quiet and we should not say it's a ghiba, it's a fadiha, it's a this and that and not talk about it. Other reasons why people don't talk about dhulm, because we are very compassionate people. We say, Akhi, wallahi haram. He didn't mean it. We try to find excuses. معلش, he's an older person, she's an older person. خلاص, let it go. يا أخي خلاص, دع المركبة تسير. You know, everything is working fine, just let it go. We are using our compassion in the wrong area because we are feeding a dhulm. We're allowing it to grow. This is not the right place for your heart. Use your mind when you're dealing with dhulm. تغليب الفرد على الجماعة. Another bad reason for us not to deal with dhulm is, wallahi, this person is a good person. I saw him praying, mashallah. Wallahi, I saw him the other day talking about a hadith and he started crying, mashallah, tabarakallah. Mashallah. Ya akhi, there's a dhulm. No, he's a good person. He helped me out in this situation. So all we care about is this person did something good to you, ignoring the dhulm that he did to the community or to other people. This should not be your base of judgment. If there's an individual goodness, if someone told you there's a dhulm, you need to look into it. It should not stop you from looking into it. عدم التفريق بين الحق العام والحق الخاص. We also do not distinguish between the public interest and the personal interest. Again, the same point. If someone is committing dhulm to the public, our organizations that's supposed to be serving the public, they're not here to serve individuals. If they're serving individuals, you have to speak up. And don't say, well, I have nothing to do with it. It's not your right. It's the public right. Even if you're not directly influenced, you have to speak up. You have to defend the public right. Last one, why do people refrain from dealing with dhulm or shy away from it? Because they're afraid from being hurt, getting tired, being called names, being harmed. Let me tell you something. Dhulm and fighting dhulm is not an easy job. It's given, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the people that are willing to take the fight and to take the harm and to take the heat. كل الأنبياء, all the prophets, عليهم الصلاة والسلام, they paid the price of lifting oppression. They paid the price of reforming. كل الصالحين, كل المصلحين, all the reformers. Some people paid their lives for others, and they did not have one benefit in it. So, al-islah is full of harm, and it's full of tiring hours. And remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. Reforming needs sabr, but you will be hurt. You will be called names. You will be called the troublemaker. You will be accused of working for yourself and your own interest. Put it all aside. Tariq al-Islah, the way of reform, is full of thrones and it's full of harm and adha, and you should be musabiri. So this is how we deal with dhulm as a community, and I believe that each and every one of us have tried this at one point in your life. Whether with your family, with your community, with your friends, we all tend to shy away from Islah and shy away from talking about the dhulm and zalimin. So let's see what is the right way to do it. What did Rasulullah teach us? 4 things that we're going to talk about quickly, inshallah. First thing, التنديد بالظلم ورفضه وكشفه للناس عبر وسائل المشروع. First thing, you find a dhulm, you spot a dhulm, you need to do something. Based on your capacity, you need to talk about it. You need to do something. And remember, the Rasulullah told us, إذا رأيت أمتي تهاب أن تقول للظالم يا ظالم فقد تودع منها. If you, as a community member, you shy away from telling the oppressor, you are a zalim, فَقَدْ تُوُدِّعَ مِنْهَا, means kiss your community goodbye. It's gone. It's worth nothing. It can't do anything. And we know that we need this strong community by standing up for الظلمة والظالمين. Second thing, التصدي للظالم وكشف جرائمه. You need to talk to a zalim, you need to tell him, and you need to push back, and you need to talk about al-dhulm, and you need to expose al-dhulm for people to know. Because a lot of people, if they don't know, they don't do anything. So you need to be part of that exposing of that dhulm and that oppression. 3, عدم التعاون مع الظالم. يا أخي, if you can't do anything, at least don't support a zalim. If people are talking about the dhulm of zalimeen, and we know there's a dhulm happening in our center here, Adda. The management is doing something wrong and they're abusing the community. They're stealing, I'm going really far here. They're stealing the community's money. That's dhulm. You guys are paying donations and they're stealing our money. What do? You say, now Allah haram. MashaAllah, they're good. Look at them, MashaAllah. Brother Faraz gives khutbah on the member. So, we shouldn't talk about it. Let it go. Oh, he's a good guy. Or Brother Yasser is good. Or Brother Fulan is good. No. There's dhulm. We deal with the dhulm. We talk to them. They don't listen. We talk to each other. We let people know that there's dhulm happening and needs to stop. This is your duty as a Muslim. You don't do it, we all suffer. We allow al-dhalama to stay dhalama, we allow al-dhulm to grow. Last one, منعه من الظلم والأخذ على يده وتغيير منكره. Last one is we need to stop it and we need to change it. Remember, hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, من رأى منكم منكرا فليغيره. And this hadith sums it all up. If we see a munkar, something wrong, dhulm is wrong. We see wrong, what do? فليغير بيده. You change it by your hand. But to do it by your hand, you have to be able to do it. Meaning, you have the power to do it. You have the authority to do it. You have the knowledge to do it. You have the courage to do it. If you have the ability, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to accept from you to stay away. If you can't do it by hand, it's not acceptable from you to just talk about it. If you can't do it by hand, you need to stop al-dhulm by hand. فَلْيُغَيِّرْهُ بِيَدِهِ فَإِن لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ. والشرط here, condition is if you cannot, let's go back to the lower one. فَبِلِسَانِهِ. And then you start talking about it. If you have no authority, no power, no courage, no ability to do it by hand, talk about it. Let people know. Say, Ya ibad Allah, oh people, there's a dhulm here we need to deal with. There is a mother-in-law abusing her daughter-in-law. There's a father-in-law abusing his son-in-law. There's this, we need to talk about it. We need to stop al-dhulm, because if we don't stop al-dhulm at a family level, it's going to grow to the community level, and we're all going to suffer. We're not going to get tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and blessing if we keep living in a state of dhulm. فَإِن لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ بِلِسَانِهِ فَبِقَلْبِهِ وَذَلِكَ أَضْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ. Meaning, even if you cannot do it by your tongue, because someone will end up doing something, hurting you badly, at least reject it in your heart. Reject it, don't accept it. So we say, if you can't stop it, don't support it. If you know a person is a zalim, stay away from that person as your own way of showing your support to al-haq. Because dhulm is dhulumat, kama qala sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Dhulm is not going to go, if it stays upon one person, wallahi it will get to all of us. Dhulm, if it stays upon one family, is going to get to all of us as a community, whether you believe it or not. We are connected as a community. We allow dhulm to happen, we will all suffer from it. The last message to al-zalimeen, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَقُطِعَ دَابِرُ الْقَوْمِ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. The dhulm will end. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will end it. But if we don't do anything, it will last longer and we will be questioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we can't do it, we do it. Don't allow it to happen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us upon those who are from al-muslihin. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the courage and the knowledge to stand against oppression. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the power to be from those muslihin and reject al-dhulm wal-zalimeen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us and shower us with His mercy. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us raise a generation of people that will not accept al-dhulm wal-zalimeen.